everybody, it's Michelle, and today I wanted to talk about something that so many of you have requested, and that is what has it been like having 2 children. And to start off, I wanted to share with you kind of what my situation is, because I know, some situations are different and that sort of thing, but basically my situation is that my husband works full-time. Luckily, he works pretty close, so once in a while he can come home at lunch and help me out. But basically, I'm doing this on my own. Because my mom, as you guys know, has a restaurant, so she's working 90 hours a week. My dad is a dentist, so he's working a lot, and we don't really have a ton of family here, so I am doing a lot of this for myself. So if I seem like I'm very overwhelmed, it's because it's tiring having to do something like this by yourself. That being said, I had an interesting experience a couple years ago when I first had Will. I was at my mom's restaurant. I was sitting there at a table feeding Will. He was still really little, and there was a table right next to me with a young girl and her mom, and the girl's probably like 20 or something like that. And they kept on looking at Will and saying, "Oh, he's so cute," and I said thanks and that sort of thing. And the younger girl says to me, "Do you like being a mom?" And I told her, "Yeah, I love it. Like, this is so great. I love it. I have a lot of fun." And she says to me, "Yeah, but you probably have a ton of help, huh? Like, I'm sure your mom just babysits him all the time and stuff." And I told her, "No, I do this completely on my own, and I love it still." And she was kind of surprised. But I thought that was kind of interesting that she thought that I only loved it because I had somebody else taking care of my child all the time. I don't know, I thought that was like kind of an interesting thing. Let me know down below what you think of that. But anyway, so now having 2 is very interesting. And before I had Max, I had so many friends tell me, "You are going to die. Like, it's really, really hard. Like, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do." And so I was getting really nervous and really anxious, wondering like, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to be able to juggle both by myself? Because, I can only do so much. I was nervous, and the first couple of weeks weren't that bad because Max was sleeping all the time. And so he wasn't requiring that much attention. So I feel like that helped make Will not so worried about having Max around. But now that Max is, almost 9 weeks old, he is requiring a lot more attention. I feed him more and that sort of thing. So it has been a lot harder. But yeah, it didn't start hitting me until a few weeks ago, and I realized how hard it really is juggling both. There is a ton of diaper changing going on. I feel like when I finish one person's diaper, somebody else's diaper is dirty, and so there's always just like a pile of diapers, I feel like. But there are a ton of diapers going on. Thankfully, I feel like they switch off, so if one's awake, the other one's asleep, and vice versa, so that makes it helpful sometimes. But it makes it so tiring because it just feels like it's an endless marathon. When you have one, they take a nap, so you can just relax and do what you need to do. But with 2, when there's 2 of them to take care of, there's always somebody requiring attention from you. So that can be pretty draining. I'm going to do a different video about how to transition with a toddler with a baby, so I'll do a different video on that. So don't worry about getting into that too much today, but it has been hard sometimes when Will feels, that he's not getting the attention that he used to get, and Max is getting all the attention. And it's not necessarily because I am giving Max more attention, but, just when I'm nursing him, and, I'm nursing him a lot, so that kind of happens, and that definitely makes it hard. But yesterday I wanted to share an experience that I had, and I feel so strongly about this, and forgive me if I get emotional, first of all, and I'm just going to be really open and honest, and I want you guys to feel like we're at lunch and we're girlfriends and I'm just telling you a story. But 2 nights ago, Will learned to crawl out of his crib, and it freaked us out so bad. We put him in his crib and he was crying, and all of a sudden we heard him knocking on the door of his bedroom, and we were just like, how did he get out? So I put him back in and I watched him get out, and it blew my mind. I was just like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. We don't have the bed set up for him right now, so we can't just put him in a big boy bed right away. So we were up until 1 in the morning trying to get him to go to sleep. And so he slept for 6 hours that night, and at 7 a.m. yesterday, he woke up, and I just thought, 6 hours? How are we going to survive? And we had a doctor appointment for Max because it was his 2-month appointment. And we had it at 10:30, so I knew the second we left the house that it was going to be rough because Will was just acting fussy because obviously he was exhausted. And we get into the doctor's office, and he's fine. He sees the fish in the aquarium, that sort of thing, in the little aquarium fish tank thing. and we have to go back to the doctor's room. And that's when he started his tantrum. And his tantrum lasted for about 45 minutes. And that was by far the worst tantrum he has ever had. And I know it's because he was so exhausted that he didn't even know what else to do. And so we were in the little room waiting for the doctor, and Will was just screaming. And no matter what I did to comfort him or whatever, he just would not have it. And there are so many different videos you can do about how to handle tantrums and stuff. But I was just so exhausted from the night before even. And thankfully, Max was just hanging out. This was before Max got his shots and stuff. But then the doctor comes in, you know, and he's still screaming and all of that. And Will has been sick, and I think he has a milk allergy, so he's been even, you know, more cranky than normal. And the doctor comes in, and the nurse comes in, and she's like, do you want me to take him out and walk around and stuff? So I let him take him out. But then he got, you know, then he started freaking out even more because he realized that I wasn't with him. And then he heard Max crying, and it was insane, you guys. And Max got his shots, and so he was screaming, so he wanted me to hold him, and then Will wanted me to hold him, so I was holding both of them, and they're both screaming. And my doctor, bless her heart, she's so sweet. She's from Wisconsin, so she's a really cute Wisconsin accent. She looks at me and she says, you are doing such a great job. I am so impressed with how composed you are, and you can just tell that you're a good mom and you know what you're doing. And this is where I get emotional, you guys. I couldn't even look at her. I was just staring at the ground, and I just had tears welling up in my eyes because I was so exhausted and I was so spent. And I can't tell you how many times yesterday I just told myself, like, I just am not cut out to be a mom. Like, this is so hard, and moms are so underappreciated. You know, I should be getting paid $250,000 a year with what I'm doing. Do you guys agree? But it meant so much to me that she would say that. And I know that she's, you know, she told me she's seen so many kids do the exact same thing all the time, all day long. You know, it's a doctor's office. So then I took the boys home, and Will didn't take a nap the entire day. And then we transitioned Will to a big boy bed yesterday, and that's a whole different story. With that being said, Max was also very fussy yesterday because of his shot. So that made it even harder. And it's been hard, and I have had days where I just think, this is so hard. And I get really discouraged, and I think, you know, how come everybody else can do this? Like, why is this so hard for me? And I just want any of you out there to know that if you are having those feelings, you're not alone, because it's very overwhelming. And I really try to be the best mom that I can be to these boys. And it's hard when you just feel weak, you know, you just feel powerless, like you can't, I don't know, you just feel exhausted and you just can't make the situation better. It's hard. And I just feel like society today doesn't really value mothers as much as we should. I feel like it's hands down the most important job that anybody will ever have, because, you know, we're taking these little bodies, these little souls, and we're teaching them about the world and teaching them manners and teaching them how to read and learn and talk and talents and all that stuff. We teach them these things, and it's so important, but yet it's so undervalued. And I feel like there's this huge pressure on me to do those things and to raise my children to the best of my ability. And so when I have days like I did yesterday where it just felt like everything I had done didn't even matter because they were just going crazy, it was exhausting. And, you know, that was the hardest day I've ever had as a mom, hands down. That was like the most difficult day I've ever had, the most tired I've ever been, and all of that. But I feel like I had that experience so that I could help you guys. You know, that was like definitely the worst day I've had with both of them. But that's pretty crazy, right? Thinking that Max is already 9 weeks old, and that was the first day that it's been like that. Because I have felt like, I even told my husband earlier this week that I think I got this down. Like, I feel comfortable having two. Like, we can go places and Max sleeps and then I can feed him. And, you know, we're starting to get a rhythm and a routine down. So I thought it was getting a lot easier. And then yesterday came. And I actually filmed this video a couple weeks ago, and it was like, oh, it's fine, you know. But I'm thankful because my camera somehow lost the film, or my video recording, and so here I am filming it again for you guys. But yeah, this is real life, and you know, I just want you to know that it is hard having two, but it is so worth it, and it's not as bad as you think it is going to be. Yes, there are bad days, but the bad days are completely outnumbered by the good days. And no matter how tired you are, it's just amazing how you can just keep going, and it's amazing what your body can do. And as women, we are made to be multitaskers, and it's amazing. Sometimes I impress myself with, you know, when we're about to go somewhere, I just have a system down of getting myself dressed, getting Max ready, getting Will ready. We just do it. We get into the car, and it takes a lot longer, obviously, to get into a car and to get going places, but I do it. And I remember thinking when I first had Max, you know, when I had to go to the doctor all the time because he had high bilirubin levels, I was like, this is so hard. How am I ever going to get used to this? But it's only been, you know, 2 months, and I already feel like I've grown so much. So I can't even imagine as time goes on how much more I'm going to learn and how much more comfortable I'm going to feel doing this. And so with that being said, what is it like having two? It is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say that it's so easy and simple, but it's a learning process. But it really isn't as bad as you think. And it's so incredible having two little boys or two little girls, whatever you have, one boy, one girl. It's so rewarding having two. And I see Max look at Will, and when Will kisses Max, and when Max giggles and smiles back at Will, it's so precious to me, thinking of this special relationship that they're going to have as siblings. And it's so powerful to have more than one. I love having more than one, and I want more than two. But yeah, so I hope this video wasn't too scatterbrained and all of that. I hope you found it a little bit informative of what it's really like having two. And yeah, comment below, and please let me know, you know, what your fears are if you're about to have two, or what your experiences are if you do have more than two. Or any advice that you have for moms like me, or moms who are about to have two. I'm going to do a different video on how to deal with two later, but I just wanted to tell you like what it's like, that sort of thing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.